Hey everyone, welcome to the Geo Community Call for June 1st. I hope everyone had a nice wrap up to May. Uh, it's been a great few weeks. I know I was out last week, so thank you, Arturus, for taking over. Um, and really excited by all of the great work people have been doing. Um, I think folks have been quite self-directed, which has been awesome. On the bounty side, I feel like we've gotten a lot of things smoothed out. I know folks are taking more ownership of their spaces, and we're creating more spaces, which has been really cool to see. And I know that we've got some questions around kind of where we're at on the general process and timeline. So, one thing that I can share is we're going to be uh, on our way to wrapping up our season one and then starting a season two of the Curator Program, where we open things up for um, our next cohort of users. And we've got some really exciting things planned for that. So, team is cooking. uh, we've been off doing some great work there, and I'm excited to share that stuff with folks. So we are not quite there yet, but that is something that is coming. Um, in the meantime, the main thing that we've really been doing is just polishing the experience, looking a lot at especially onboarding for new users, as we want to get ready to accept, new cohort of users. Hopefully, you've had a chance to play around with the AI assistant. Would love to hear stories from people about how that's going, any feedback, um, and anything that can make things smoother for new users. Um, So yeah, for today, Preston is out today, so we won't be doing a normal product update. But there's been a lot of work happening on the product side. Hopefully, you're seeing things improving there. But let's start out. I'm gonna hand it over to Arturus to walk us through the content side.
Okay, so uh, let's take a look at the content we made throughout the week. And we can start with a one highlight we got from the health space on intermittent fasting protocols. So that's a big uh, health thing happening with the intermittent fasting. A lot of data and studies show a lot of health benefits there, and we have them organized. These are the most popular protocols for fasting. We have the hours, eating window durations, frequencies, target outcomes, difficulty. So you can start easy and work yourself up to a more difficult ones, more challenging ones. Things to look out for, also important. We do know some folks who jump in a bit too fast, and there are certain conditions that people should be careful with that. It has a lot of benefits, but also it is a serious health strategy. So a quick highlight from the health space. Now, a bit more work has been done in the AI space. First of all, we are improving our front pages for the spaces, and AI space is leading the charge on that. So on the front page, we have whatever is trending for that week right here. We have the week of the submission of the week. So that's the best submission that we got from the entire week. And the curator of the week, Fatima, congratulations for the week's curator. And new stories below. So we can take a quick look at the work that we've been doing in the AI space. And here we have a video. So this one was a really good video from around 12 days ago by Claude, Stop Babysitting Your Agents. So that's one of the highest leverage improvements that most people can do now, regardless of their work setup, knowledge work, especially. It is to, instead of just giving your Claude a task and coming back every time it's done and giving the another one, is to have them iterate in loops. And that's one of the highest leverage improvements together with better organization of MD files and scales. So this is a full claimified video of what exactly was being said and how are we supposed to set it up. So set up some foundations, verification loops, multi-agent management, background automation, and skills. And like some additional cool stuff, of course, linked to the actual YouTube video, also like the speaker and the event where it was, the talk was given. So some good content on that, super relevant. And of course, Claude Opus 4.8 was launched. We have some main claims about it. I would say like that might be a bigger news story than the actual model increase. It's a big news story, but the dynamic workflow feature, like that one is a crazy thing. The fact that you can just now spawn a bunch of agents, just work on your task from just with a keyword is kind of crazy. And like careful with the tokens, but it is like a super powerful feature right there. And we have, so let's take a look at benchmark evaluations. So this is like a really good thing to take a look at every time some new model drops. It's how it's doing on the benchmarks. So we have the scores for Opus 4.8 in reasoning and benchmark results, multi-model benchmark results, context window benchmark results, agentic benchmark results, coding benchmark results, real-world professional tasks benchmark results, and results from language benchmarks, life sciences benchmark results. So all of these different benchmarks of how the model is performing. I hear some mixed reviews. Like personally, I'm having a lot of fun with the model. So yeah, and of course, like some general information around it as always. We have the links, the paper, the modalities, effort modes, context window, capabilities, etc. Some like additional interesting things. So safety approach. These are the safety approaches. And for them, we also have some claims of what it is and how that works. So that's some work on the Claude Opus 4.8. Claude Mythos preview. So that's a bit of a different, an interesting approach to a kind of topic. So we all know the Claude Mythos, the powerful model, rumored to be released soon. And here we have like sort of a narrative that one of the team members built. So this, we can sort of go on a journey and see how the story evolved. So first we go to Mythos surface, not by launch, but by leak, and some information about, and here are some of the key claims about that leak. So if we read them all, like we would have a general understanding what was happening with the leak. Then Anthropic most capable model yet. So what we have learned from that. So these are the claims about the capabilities. Mythos solves 73% of expert hacking challenges and finds 0 days. The KI Security Institute called a major step forward. So here is the cyber weapon independently proven. So here's some facts about how it was independently proven. Claude Mythos, some of these facts. Then AI-assisted attacks were already real. So this is a general overview to understand how AI is already a problem in cybersecurity. And we have a bunch of these different things. Anthropic said in November that a state-sponsored group in China utilized Claude to automate a cyber attack. A January Russian-speaking cyber criminal used multiple AI tools to hack over 600 devices. And in February, a hacker used Claude to a series attacks against the Mexican government. So these are the problems. So just so we understand some context into where does Mythos come in. And then gained Mythos through a project, Glasswing, a 100 million initiative, releasing it to 40 organizations. Some information about how did that work. and then the fallout when that actually got split over access. Here we go. So it's there's multiple ways to organize claims and knowledge. This is one of them, right? Like to just build up a narrative, sort of an interesting content creation there. So that's a highlight there. Not as much as about just organizing into dry collections, but kind of trying to build up some general information there. And then this one, knowledge gap detection and triage. This one, we should give maybe Mo a bit of time today to walk through. Like he's doing some very interesting work here. Pushing, I would say, like the geo ontology in the AI space forward with this. These are workflows with AI on organized in a proper ontology in the AI space. So we will let him speak about it. That's like definitely an interesting approach. And this is, I would, if we nail this process well, like this is an extraordinary power, is to organize different setups of how to use AI tools that can then be used to actually query, work with data on the knowledge graph, create new data on the knowledge graph. Which is to say that to organize the data within the knowledge graph ontologies, but also be a part of the same ontology for the actual process to do that. And this is the submission of the week. We can see it on the front page in the AI, which is AI information sources. So this is something that we do want all spaces to really lean into. It is to have a well-organized list of the best sources that we trust, that we use for our work, and well-organized. So regulatory and policy sources, funding and investment sources for AI, AI newsletters. These are some of the most popular ones. Research paper sources, data and benchmark sources, all well-organized. So here, it's a good opportunity to start ranking of what we think is like for the AI space community members. Actually, would be much appreciated if we start ranking and making sure, like, if you think that it's not a good source or a good source, to give it upvotes, downvotes. And also, if you think that something is missing here that is important, if you think that there is a better source than any of these, or at least as good, you're welcome to add that. This is a community curated, right? By definition, it's an AI community space. So it's a community curated lists. And the better we do at it, the better the space is, because we can cross-check our claims and facts that we're making there with the sources. So that's actually a hugely important resource right here. And we are already mentioned in the last week, and this is something that's now going into a full-fledged build-up mode for the US politics space. So we have the US Congress and some organized news stories around it: war power, Senate confirmations, congressional redistricting, etc. Key leaders in the Senate and in the House. And we are going into the like some list of politicians overall, and more specifically, Texas primary elections. So here we have the news stories as they're developing in order by the whatever is happening in the Texas Democratic Party, right? How the story is developing and what's happening there. Also for Texas Republican Party, how things are evolving there. And we have them organized a little bit. So we have the primary and the runoff. And yeah, and we have also key politicians for this run. And as always, because we do have a news app, the news that we are organizing here and we're creating, feel free to follow on the news app. We have the US politics section, and you can check those news stories right here. We have the timelines. If you want to follow some specific thing, for example, Trump administration, like anything that's happening there, US policy and law, US Congress, etc. Any space has all of the news stories in the app right here, US politics included. That much for the highlights this week.
Amazing. What a great week. Things are coming together. I'm super impressed by the AI space, seeing, all of that come together, and it's starting to feel like a really usable space and like on the right sort of current events, which is super cool. And then U.S. politics, yeah, it's coming together. Who's been working on the U.S. politics?
That was Armando and the Ahmed.
Cool,
And
exciting.
Dan right now, right, as well.
Great, great work, guys. Let's see. Do we have any demos that people want to do themselves?
We should for sure give well, some time to give a demo on their workflows work.
Okay, sure. I can give a demo.
Sweet.
Okay. So we have the knowledge graph, knowledge gap detection and triage workflow, right? So we had a challenge of keeping the AI space up to date. We want to keep track of all of the latest developments, all of the model launches, the fundraisers, the latest happenings around the projects, the people, and the companies, right? So I figured if it was a human that's trying to keep track of all of that, you will follow the news stories, you will follow podcast episodes, you'll follow tweets, X posts, right? And to keep yourself updated, and then you would compare with the knowledge we have on Geo to see where the gaps are, what we are missing. Maybe we have coverage gaps, maybe we have structural gaps. So knowledge coverage gaps are what is trending out there, but we are missing out on Geo. Structural gaps are maybe what's already existing on Geo, but is not currently structured in a right way. Or freshness gaps, we may have it already on Geo, but it's not fresh. We don't have the latest information on the news. So I thought maybe we can bring the curators into the workflow, have an AI workflow for bridging the knowledge gaps between what is out there and what is in here on Geo, and have curators come in and be able to run the workflow themselves. Because then that would mean we can create bounties for discovering knowledge gaps, right? And then once they're discovered, we can create new bounties to bridge those gaps, to create new content on Geo. And that would also mean having new bounties coming out every day or every other day. So I created an AI workflow type with the knowledge gap detection and triage. And it has all of the stages for the workflow. So you harvest the daily stream. And as I dug into it, I realized we are already publishing news stories on Geo. So we already have that on Geo right now. And we are also publishing podcast episodes on Geo. And those are having claims attached to them. So the news stories have claims and the podcast episodes have claims as well. And if we feed that to an LLM, it can extract the trends, the latest themes and topics that are trending in the AI space. So that's what the workflow is trying to capture, right? Grabbing all of our news stories and the podcast episodes, the claims inside of them. And maybe in the future, maybe when we start publishing X posts from popular accounts on Geo, maybe we can grab those as well. And then when you run the workflow, it goes through and analyzes the claims to extract the trends and the themes from them. And then it then compares to what we are having on Geo in the AI space in particular to see how it compares. What are we missing out? What do we need to create? Do we need to create new projects, new people, or do we need to refresh what we already have? And I set this up in a way that you can just give an AI agent the ID of the workflow, And then once it fetches it, you can ask it to run the workflow for you. You wouldn't need to make any inputs. It will grab the workflow, read the stages, because the stages themselves are designed in a way that we have the AI skills involved in the stage, links to the stage. We have the inputs, the operators. This is an automated stage, and then the output, the duplicated candidate named entities with velocity counts, the tools used, and the AI skill itself. Once the agent grabs that, it will have information on what the AI skill is. The AI skill being used here is the Geo Discovery AI skill. This is a tool that this is a skill that I created that makes discoveries for you of the gaps that we're missing out on Geo. And then there's also a URL of the skill posted on GitHub. So once the agent runs the workflow, it reads the workflow, gets the stages of the workflow, and then for each stage, it sees the input and the output and the skill used, and then it can also pull the skill from the GitHub repo. So you wouldn't even need to have all of the individual skills installed in your environment to run it. Once you pass in the workflow, it runs through everything for you and then gives you an output. So these are the gap findings. On a task run I made yesterday, when I ran the workflow, it fetched the stages, ran the whole thing through, and then compared with what we're missing in Geo. And the gap findings are categorized into different types. So these are things we are missing on Geo. Through Foundry and Enterprise AI Gateway Startup is missing in the AI space. So from the claims, all of the claims and the news stories and the podcast episodes, we realized True Foundry is a trending project. It's a trending company, and we're missing that on Geo as an entity. So these are the gaps missing from Geo. These are thin needs enrichment. Claude Opus 4.8 trending topic is a trending model. It was missing a description. It also found duplicates and mistypes. So these are structural gaps, right? Mistral AI exists as two entities, a lab and a project provider type. And then we have the trending now, what's trending. We have the themes, right? Topics to build or develop on Geo, because it also analyzes the themes in the AI space that are currently happening. So business and enterprise AI, AI regulation lawsuits, AI agents, AI startups. And this is what a gap finding looks like itself. So we have the gap finding, a description. This is for the Crew Foundry. And then the recommended action. So create Crew Foundry as a company, enterprise AI gateway control plane, and link its CAO. Also a coverage gap. This is what a gap for a theme looks like. Compute chips and AI infrastructure, hot cross-source team with no developed topic in the AI space, and the recommended action. So what we can do from here is design bounties, right, across the most important gaps that we have. So we can design new bounties and assign them to interested curators so that we can keep the AI space updated. So this is what I've been testing over the
Wow,
last.
amazing. Freaking crazy. Yeah. First the creativity to think to do all of this and then actually getting it all working.
Yeah,
That's
I
sick.
had lots of help from Arturas and the team.
Yeah, well done. Well done. This is freaking sick and amazing to see that you can automate this stuff and, having the right primitives to just produce the content, right? Just, the pages and data blocks, collections and everything. They're really powerful primitives yeah, the properties. So to be able to just have that generated automatically, and on this relevant stuff and to help to organize work, right? We wanted to use this stuff more for project management, use Geo itself to actually track the work that needs to be done. So now I guess it's automated. That's just amazing. Um, Really great work. One
Yeah.
question I would have is for the skills, is there any reason why we actually need to link to a GitHub and can't just have the skill content just natively in the content area?
Yeah, well, so the skills we have the folders inside of there, and then some of the scripts are written in Python. So
So
it's
there's like
a programming
scripts. Got
language.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, so one thing
So
that might
that's
help then is I wonder if we should also include basically the commit hash, because I feel like there's a bit of a security implication to just pointing to a repo and pulling down and just executing whatever's at that repo. So I think maybe from a security standpoint, right? If there's like governance over here's the skill, including a commit hash, then I
yeah,
think you can feel better making sure that you're downloading something that's been reviewed.
yeah, definitely. That would be useful.
Yeah. So as long as you have the commit hash, then you can trust it. And so I see there is code and stuff you'd need to pull down from the repo. So that makes sense. Um, cool. Super exciting. So you're planning to run this like every day?
Yeah, we did a test run yesterday. I'll make a test run today and then open it up to curators and other editors as well to test it out.
Cool. Yeah, I would be very curious to see how this works in other spaces as well. But so
Yeah,
far, it seems like you're pretty happy with the results, huh?
yeah. Very encouraging results.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Agreed. Agreed. And yeah, and it just makes me excited for the concept of just having workflows like this, right, that are automated that we can share with each other and then use. So very curious to see if this is something we can adopt in other spaces and what other types of workflows we can do. I mean, one, just I think we've known that working with AI and automating things, I mean, of course, that's critical. But now also having this building block with the AI workflows defined with an ontology for that, that is just super cool. And you can imagine using that for a lot of other things. Um, have you heard of LangGraph? Have we looked into that? I think there's a few of these kind of AI automation systems. And I wonder what types of things they use, if there's anything we should learn from there. Because what I saw here in this workflow, for example, I mean, you've got the inputs, the outputs. It looks like you provide a collection and that it goes basically in series. Is that right?
Yeah.
Would you have a way to define tasks that you could spawn with sub-agents in parallel?
Wow. I haven't even thought of that.
Because that's
So,
interesting. I wonder
yeah.
if there's standards around that type of thing. Because if you can do that, you can define really advanced pipelines and workflows. Um, Interesting.
Opens whole new opportunities.
Yeah, and I wonder if there is any advantage to using any other systems ontology for something like this. If again, I don't know what the leading AI automation things are, if LangGraph is one of them. I think they do define, the processes in a graph, or if there's others. Might be worth just a little bit of research, but I mean, already this looks like basically what you'd want. Um, so super, super cool. All right. Does anyone else want to demo anything? Any takers? I saw that we have a new space this week. Does anyone want to share something from the pharma space?
I can share something from the pharma space. Sorry, I had shared it last week, so I don't have anything really
Oh,
new to
got it.
show, but I can kind of walk through some of the organization that we did here and kind of the dashboard. I wiped my package insert server here this week, so I'm trying to frantically get it up again to show it to people, but I think I can kind of give you the gist of what's opening up here in the pharma space. So, alrighty, I'm going to share my screen here real quick. Okay. You hear my daughter in the background rocking out. I apologize for that. She's watching cartoons. Okay, so I'll show you some updates we made in the pharma space this week.
Any chance you could hit Command plus
Command plus. Is it not
on the
showing up?
window? It should zoom it in a little bit.
Oh, um, I don't know where that is here.
It's usually if you're selected on the page itself.
Could I just do this?
There is a, yeah, that could work. Yeah, there we go. Great.
Yeah, I don't even know where the command key is on this new laptop. So, all right. So this is the ontology page here that we did some updating for. Armando had done some work to pull in the things that were live here, but I just want to kind of demo this for anybody that comes in, especially in the second stage here. This is a good place to start to get a feel for what's in pharma right now. So I kind of early on had thought about making like a layer zero or a root item way that we could attach things from all spaces, especially the pharma space, to like an ingredient of truth. And that's ultimately it's like kind of taking shape here in this way. So I would call our layer zero um, just active ingredients. And all of this is coming, and the backbone of this is being designed on the National Institutes of Medicine's RxNorm database that I've talked about before. And after really getting into it for a couple months here and understanding it, this gives us a good place to kind of build from a chemical standpoint. So three of the codes that they provide are ingredient codes, and if we click through here, these are going to take us to. I don't want to click out of here because I'm having some rendering issues here, but it'll take us to the actual products themselves. But the nice thing about having everything defined at the ingredient level in pharma space is you can do a ton of stuff with it. So instead of it being Lipitor 20, it's a torvastatin. And a torvastatin can go to evidence, it can go to supply chain stuff. It could go into completely different spaces in the health space. It's just a good anchor point to kind of build around. And I kind of think of it like a lab grown crystal where you have that anchor point and you kind of use that good anchor point to kind of build out. That's what's been happening in the pharma space now. So we've been able to define the properties here to give you an idea of like what's attached to layer zero. From there, we've kind of defined a product level now. So I've been in 2 countries so far, and I'm moving over to Mexico next. But these are all the actual products themselves. So we have about I've been whittling it down and trying to get like prune out dead products, but we have about 16,000 US products. And right now we have about 8,000 Canadian products mapped to their US counterparts. So you can come into the drug product level and kind of get a feel for what these things are going to define. But we're drilling down in granularity and specificity here. And these are like exact codes from RxNorm. These I invented. So this is something new that hasn't really been done yet. There's not a lot of good info mapping cross-border products, prices, supply chain stuff. I actually was reading about a lawsuit that was in a company that I had worked for a couple of years back. And one of the things that came up when I was reading through the lawsuit this weekend was Humira that was shipped in the US the same as the Humira that was shipped in Canada? And nobody knew the answer to that. And AbbVie was the company, wasn't really answering it. And it is, I think, largely, but nobody even knew where to go to answer that question cross border because these databases are just not tied together. Using a knowledge graph here has been cool because the more I dig into it, the more I realize the power of it. It's not an Excel spreadsheet. Stuff can tie together in ways that I think is just going to be unique for what we're doing here. So these are all the products. The last thing that I've been working really hard to add here has been the product codes now. So NDC is the US specific granular product code. The counterpart in Canada is the drug identification number. So we've started to map these things together, and I'll just see if I can give you an example here. of what it looks like. I probably should have pulled an example up here. Do I have any of these loaded yet? I don't. Okay. I've been doing a lot of work to try to get it live for the dashboard here, but basically what you'll be able to do is start at a high level, like torvastatin, just the ingredient, get fed all of the products, and then the product codes are where all the granularity lives here, and things like the unit price, things that point us to drug information. And so right now, all of this is going to be the backbone of something that I've kind of created to demo this, to give you an idea of maybe a little bit of the power here. Um, and I think this dashboard's live now. Unfortunately, the package inserts are dead, but I can kind of show you what it looks like. Um, I'm fixing it right now. If you gave me 15 minutes, this would be working. But what a user would be able to do is come in here and just search right now for what we basically have. All ingredient-wise, we have 2,600 ingredients, and a user should be able to come in here and click and then get fed a list of relevant products that are attached to that. And these are all linked up across border right now. So I don't have the Canadian pricing fed to this dashboard yet, but it is live in my space and it works. And it would work kind of the same way. So the goal here is to give the user kind of like a high level idea of what is in the pharma space right now, but it's going to feed pricing. And I think end state, we'd like to have cash pricing, and it's going to feed drug information right now. And to give you an idea of like how granular we can get, I actually for US products, I have all types of dosage form info now. You can go to Google right now. If you pick a pill up off the ground and it says like N17 on it, you can Google it and it will give you the right answer more often than not. But then trying to drill down on that drug product, it gets a little wishy-washy. And I feel like trying to figure out the value prop of this is, like talking to AI about it too. It's AI is basically the illusion of knowledge, and it can take you to the right point. But I feel like what we're doing is building the anchor point here. So every single time you get back to that same providence, that same endpoint, and it's repeatable. So ultimately, I think that's kind of what we're on to here. So this ultimately, did it load? All right. So at the end of the day, I'd like a user. I mean, we can go a lot of ways with this, and this is rough and ready, but I'd like a user to be able to come in here and get fed all of the product codes, all of the pricing for that product, and then I'd like the user to be able to have all of the drug info available to them here in the package insert section. And we'd be able to do it in multiple languages. To give you one idea here before I wrap up about the power of this. So one call I would get as a pharmacist all the time, and this is more clinical, I guess, than patient based right now. But I would get a ton of questions about reconstituting meds and how meds could get mixed. And so I would use a dashboard like this every day of my job. I'd get a question like ceftriaxone 1,000 milligrams. I just pulled this from the Pyxis machine, their backup machine on location at the hospital. I don't know how to mix this to inject it. The patient needs a dose now. How much of diluent do I use, and what kind of a diluent should I be using? And I would come to here basically. These inserts are dead, unfortunately, so I can't show you the exact section. But I would click into I believe it's indications and usage section, and it's going to crash, I think, here. But it would give me the answer of 3.6 mLs of lidocaine 1%. And that's kind of the power here. I Googled that same question. I asked Gemini, like I've been kind of testing to see like, what works well here and doesn't work as well there. And it gave me lidocaine. It explained to me why lidocaine should be used for ceftriaxone because of the pain associated with it, but it couldn't find 3.6 mLs. That's kind of abstract. So there are certain things here that I think are already unique, but I'll leave you with the power I think here is going to be taking siloed data sets like the Canadian product data set and the US data set and marrying them in a way that a user just gets fed all of that info. And then, I think we'd have quality stuff here that would be fed via API that people could rely on, and would have done the work to kind of bind it all back together. Yeah, that's the update. I think we have some meetings this week with the pharma space that I'm really excited about. This has been a really exciting week here. Yeah, things are coming along really well, and I think this is going to take shape.
All right, exciting. Yeah, that's what I love to see. And it's so cool just seeing, the domain expertise in an area like this. And when you really know an area this well, to know, all of the problems and questions that people would have and what they'd be looking for and where to get it. I mean, that's just super cool.
That's what I
So,
said to my wife yesterday. I was like, I can't, the tech stuff, it's a long walk for me to talk to these bots to get an end product, but I know what I want. And that's the coolest part. Like that's kind of the equalizer for me here is I understand the data and what we might want. It just might take me a little bit longer there. But then, like you said, you pair up with people who know that and you can get a lot done fast. So
mhm.
yeah, that's what I've been finding.
Hell yeah, exciting. I love this. So yeah, we got to find a way to blast out so people know about the pharma space. Maybe let them know when the community call is. You know what day that is?
I believe we have that scheduled for Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah, and that's been pinned in the health space.
Hmm.
We can blast that again. But yeah, anybody that's interested in contributing here, we have some direction, I think, and some good ideas, and we would love some help. So look forward to talking to all of you.
Cool. Super exciting. Great work. All right. So next, would love to maybe open up the floor to discuss any product feedback. We've been making a bunch of changes. Um, have people had a chance to use the AI assistant? Would love to hear how that's gone. And just any open conversation on either, things that are working well or any feature requests.
I feel I have some issues right now. I tried to import papers into Geo from Arxiv, and it was importing them as type article, not as type paper. It
Mm.
was an issue for me.
Okay, so that's what the import tool was. That was using the import at the top, the import button.
Yes.
Okay, got it. So that's a good one, yeah, Arturis. If we could make a note. Um,
Yeah,
and
we're
we'll
uh,
call
we're
that
aware of
out.
that. It's
So
we're aware it's
we're pretty early with this import tool. And I think there's going to be a long tail of different sources that we want to support well. But yeah, just getting these sorts of call outs will be helpful. And it's just going to be a matter of kind of really doing them one by one and making sure that, all the different types of things you'd want to throw at it work. So yeah, thanks for the call out there.
A feature that could be helpful is a drag and drop for tables.
From what to what?
So an example for community highlights, we have the most recent week up at the top. And instead of having to rebuild the tables, it'd be nice to be able to just drag and drop and add new tables at the top.
Hmm. Yeah. All right. That's a great request. You can dial that in. We got one via text here that the assistant has been pretty helpful, but it tends to rot after several turns. Would anyone have a little more color on that? Would love to hear more about what happens there.
Oh yeah, just normal agent context rot, like it happens in every agent. So yeah, I've just noticed that, after 4 or 5 turns, the results start getting a little erratic and not so helpful. But that's actually fine because when I'm using the agent like for like more complex requests, I'm just kind of asking it for info and then I'm getting that info and then taking it to my coding agent. So yeah, I think the rot helps me use your tokens less and mine more, I think.
That's interesting. So if you had to guess, I guess it's just too much context, it gets confused. Would you think that that we should be smarter about resetting context, or you think if you had to guess, is there anything that you're kind of leaning towards as to the issue or solution?
I'm a total vibe coder, man. So I think like if it were my bot, I would go for like, like checking out the conversation windowing and what my compaction process is like, but I'm no engineer, so I'm
Yeah,
not going to
yeah.
give you advice.
Sure, makes sense. Well, yeah, thanks for calling that out. So that's super helpful, and yeah, we'll run that by folks. Um, any more feedback on product?
I used it to make some charts. Those charts I had shown in Ontology, I've kind of leveraged it to do that. The feedback I'd give there is, and maybe I could put together a more specific like experience, is I found it's like duplicated things, and sometimes when I ask it to add like a header, it deletes a chart and little weird things like that. I've used it to pull together charts though successfully. I actually asked it. There's meds that end in IMAB and UMAB. And I just asked it for all those meds. Can you put it together, put them in a chart called monoclonal antibodies? And it did that. And that was about 40 ingredients. It pulled it all together, dropped it in the space, and then asked me if I wanted to publish. And it was all right. So I thought that blew my
Hey,
mind.
all
But there's
right.
just little things like I've asked it to do bulk stuff too, like to a certain point. I think it's a little too much context, like 2,000 entities to delete is maybe a lot. I've asked it to do that, but um, yeah, it really cool.
Sweet. Yeah, great feedback. So we're gonna keep polishing that. I think it's great. I mean, even for experienced users, honestly, it's a great user interface, and especially I think for new users, just skip the process of having to even learn how to do a lot of this stuff manually. I think it's gonna be huge. Um, Cool. All right. Is there anything that we should be discussing in terms of priorities? I know a lot of this stuff, happens at the space level. Um, I can share, one thing from our side is not to spoil the surprise a little bit too much, but I think some of what we're going to want to do at the beginning of season two is going to be around the crypto space. So I think there's going to be some more stuff that we want to do to clean up there. The truth is, we don't need to do that much because part of what we're going to want to do is have people actually contribute. So just a little hint that if there is, I see we're doing a lot of great stuff in the AI space. If there's, cleanup like that we may want to do in the crypto space could go a long way, especially, I mean, around things like ontology, getting some initial stuff to if we feel confident there. We didn't do much in today's call yet on demos there. But I guess what's our general feeling on how the crypto space is looking?
The crypto space, it's growing as always. I would say generally crypto space was kind of maybe not the highest priority, but we do have a bunch of people working on it. We have the airdrops, bounties, like we have the whole crypto datasets subspace where we have a bunch of these different things. Also timelines of project and general projects and founders. So the space is there. Like I could give a
Yeah.
quick.
It's looking good for my browsing. So I'll just, drop that as a hint. If anybody wants to tidy things up, that's an area we'll be looking at. It is looking quite nice clicking around. Cool.
Yeah, like it has some work done here.
Mhm. Are there any interesting ontology questions that have come up?
We were building crypto space like in a safe way, kind of ontologically speaking, leveraging the type person, type project, and we have some claims. Important part here is, of course, the general people ontology that we worked at, right? So, like for the founders, it's like a big part of the crypto space. And maybe something to think about is, so let's say for projects, things like if we were to look up Bitcoin or Ethereum, it's a type network, project, and protocol at the same time. If that makes sense for us.
That makes perfect sense to me.
Okay.
The
So
theory is that you have another Bitcoin, which is token and assets.
native
Yeah,
assets. So yeah, if I
so
click here,
that also makes sense to me. But then did I see another one also that was a topic?
Yes, you have a topic about.
So that one makes less sense to me.
it should just go under this, probably. Should also
Yeah, I
not be a
think so.
topic.
But having Bitcoin and Bitcoin for network and for asset is okay.
I think so. You know, they are different things, right? I think the network and the asset are two different things, right? You have Ethereum and you have like Ether or ETH. Interesting question with the asset, whether you'd want it to be like the token symbol or the name. I think it makes sense name. I mean, it's a weird one, but when you look at, you know, CoinGecko or any of these things, right? They tend to have the names. It's even though it's supposed to be showing you the assets, you have to just have a symbol. So to me, that actually makes sense to have them be separate.
I could push a little bit on our ontology limits here. And if we are saying that we have the Bitcoin as a topic, which does go on multiple things, that does make sense. Would it be added on both of Bitcoins or just in one of them?
Good question. I mean, you really can't have, you know, a lot of things that could be topics.
By definition,
But I would kind of put it
yeah.
on the project, you know, would be my main thing. I mean, you
I
could
feel
have
like
it also on the asset. There's no reason not to if you want to.
I feel
But
like everything can be a topic on Geo.
yeah,
Yeah, by definition, it's kind of all encompassing. But yeah, but it kind of feels right to have it more on the, I feel like on here, under
I
network
think so.
projects and protocol.
Yeah, only if it really becomes a subtopic that becomes like really, you know, something people want to discuss, then they could break it out that way too. But I think this is a good place to start.
Yeah,
Cool.
and you can, if you can now search for Ether, you will find that the token is Ether, and it is different than the network Ethereum.
A lot of people have opinions about that these days.
Yeah, okay, Ether here, right here, GitHub, native, related projects, Ethereum. And we have a bunch of things about Ethereum. We have the Ethereum Foundation, which has the
team members.
The
you
team
can
members.
check the tab.
Right here, and about each, we have a bunch of key contributions, roles, skills, works at, GitHub. Yeah, so Ethereum actually did spend some time, and we have like the news that as everything's coming out about it. So yeah, so crypto space, like we are ready for the prime time. We will take a closer look though to make sure that we are properly prioritizing it. But yeah, it's looks like it's a healthy space.
All right, exciting. So yeah, great work across the board. I think AI, crypto, health, pharma, world affairs now, and U.S. politics all looking good. I'm really excited by all those areas. And so we've got just a little bit longer to polish things up. We're working on some exciting things on our side. One thing I guess I'll maybe just leave us with a little hint of some things to come is maybe next week we should make some time, set aside some time in the call to talk about reputation, which I think is one of the most important things that we need to do in crypto to help scale coordination. And it's going to be part of what we're working on next. And there might be some work that we can do on our side to prepare ahead of opening things up. So we'll discuss that a little bit. Also, great opportunity if you have thoughts on the subject that we can have some discussion as a group around that. Would love people's thoughts and input. So yeah, a lot of interesting things coming, and super excited by all the progress. So great work, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining today, and have a really great week.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good one.
Bye.
Have a good weekend.